Good morning, guys. As everything changes, so does the practice, and this is what it looks like for now. We really want to be here for you during this lockdown. We're here and we really hope that you guys will show up for yourselves as well. This morning's flow is actually going to be pretty short, something that you guys can continue to revisit, but we'll get straight into it. Alright, I'll get you guys to start in child's pose this morning. Just a really beautiful opportunity to start to feel into the breath. Big toes together, knees out nice and wide. And here, I'd love for you guys to start activating sitting bones down and back towards your heels. Keep that activation. Start to walk the fingers out in front and find these two opposite forces. If you know Ujjayi, this is the perfect time to turn it on. Big breaths into the depths of the lungs. And elongate that breath out. And we'll take 2 more rounds here. Last big breath in, feel the ribs expand. And as you breathe out, sink the chest down and forward. Come up to your hands and knees. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Spread your fingers out wide, grip down into the mat. As you breathe in, belly will drop, gaze will lift, open up through your chest. Use the whole breath out to round through the spine, push the floor away, tuck the tailbone down and under. Keep going like this. Breath in, belly will drop, pull your chest forward. Breath out, round through the spine. Feel this space grow in between your shoulder blades. Just 2 more rounds now. Start to follow your breath. And find that own natural rhythm. If you want to elongate the movement, make the breath a little longer. On your next breath in, come to a neutral spine. And as you breathe out, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Perfect opportunity for a little breakdown in this hold. Spread your fingers out wide. Index finger and thumb really well grounded. Wrap your triceps back in space. Start to take your belly towards your thighs. Nice bend in the knees and turning the sitting bones up. Keep the breath fluid. Upper body strong. Lengthen the hamstrings. Take just 1 more breath out. Push your belly button in towards your spine. As you breathe in, right leg lifts. Slow and steady, 3-legged dog. Knee to nose as you breathe out, round through the spine. Just 1 more like that. A whole breath in to find length. A whole breath out, pull knee to nose, step in between the hands. Bring your back knee to the earth. Modified crescent lunge. Knee directly on top of ankle, hip directly on top of knee. Start to take the belly button in towards the spine, our lumbar spine. We're trying to make that as straight as possible so we can find length through the psoas. If you guys want to amplify this a little bit more, you can bring your hands down to your knee and start to round your upper back towards the back of the room, tucking your chin to your chest. We're going to be sitting down a lot throughout these 6 days, so it's important that we open up through our hip flexors. We're going to stay here for just 1 more round of breath. As you breathe in, still expand through the belly. And as you breathe out, maybe you push back just a little more. Next breath in, drop the hips down and forward, bring the chest up. And as you breathe out, take the hips down and back, half Hanuman. You're going to hold here just for a moment. These front toes, peel them up, back towards your head. And here, what we want to do is activate the chest forward in space and turn the sitting bones almost back and then up. It's going to allow you guys to find some length through your hamstring. Just 1 more round of breath, still breathing slow. On your next breath in, reground this front foot, shift the hips down and forward, chest up, left hip flexors opening. As you breathe out, take the sitting bones down and back, collarbones broaden forward, peel your right toes up. 2 more like this. Breathe in, shift forward, lift your chest. Breathe out, hinge at the hips and fold into the space. Last one. On your next breath in, plant your hands, step back into your downward facing dog. Land. Maybe you start to observe even already the difference between one leg and then the other, maybe a pedal of the knees if you need it. And we'll go to the other side. As you breathe in, left leg will lift. Keep your hips square. Take the knee to the nose, round through the spine, push the floor away. One more time, let it lift, breathe in, move slow, knee to nose, plant the foot, find this modified crescent lunge. You can keep your arms lifted if you'd like. Again, we just utilize the hands to the knee to amplify the sensation through that right hip flexor now. This is a really beautiful stretch for you guys to do at any time at home. This is a really important part of the body that we really need to keep open throughout this time so it doesn't cause any discomfort in our lumbar spine. Let's take just one more breath. As you breathe out, push just a little deeper. Next breath in, drop the hips down and forward, up through the chest. Breath out, start to shift back in space, peel the toes up. Keep flossing this movement. Making sure that when you move, you're moving to the breath. Just allow this left hamstring to open. Take it really slow when you start to move through that inhale forward and that exhale back in space. We fold into the space in the belly. Really, really good. Just opening up through the hips, finding space in the legs. It's really important. Last one, breathe in, shift forward. Breathe out, down and back. As you inhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Land. You're going to use these same muscle groups and continue to open the same areas, but we'll create a little bit more of a dynamic flow now. Right leg lifts as you breathe in. Take the knee to the nose, push the floor away, breathe out. Step in between the hands, fingertip lunge, broaden through the chest. Long stance pyramid as you exhale, stay high on the ball of your back foot. Ground your left hand, lift your right arm up. Take a big breath in. Slow and steady water wheel, rebend that front knee and stand. We're going to hold here, let this settle in. A new posture. Start to take your hands away from one another. Stay really heavy through the big toe mound on the front foot. Let's take our last breath out. Reach your arms apart. Left hand to the sky. Revolved reverse, breathe in. Keep windmilling around and land in your warrior two as you breathe out. Front knee stays on top of the ankle. We're not falling into the midline. We don't want to apply any pressure to the mid knee. Tuck your tailbone down and under, and the back outer edge of your back foot, ground it, lift the inner arch. Let's take our last breath out. Stay really deep in the legs. Reverse your warrior. Breathe in, right hand to the sky, both hands to the earth. Chaturanga. As you breathe out, you can lower on your knees always. Upward facing dog, push the floor away, thighs off the ground. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. Straight away, left side, let it lift. Take a breath into the belly. Breathe out, use the space. Step in between the hands. Fingertip lunge, broaden the chest. Right leg straight. Slow and steady, long stance pyramid. Take the hips up and back, chest forward. Good, ground your right hand, lift your left up, breathe in. Slow and steady, bend that left leg, water wheel. Land here for a moment. Let it really settle into the body. Twisting through our spine, again, a really, really important movement we're going to need throughout this time. Stay really heavy in the feet, grounded. Take your last breath out. Revolve, reverse, right hand to the sky. Keep windmilling around, land. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Just as much weight going through the front leg as there is through the back. And then if you want just a little more, energetically start to hug your legs into the midline. That will turn that inner seam on. Let's take one more big breath in. Sink a little deeper as you breathe out. Stay low in the legs. Reverse your warrior. A big breath in. Windmill the hands to the earth. Step back and lower. Hug your elbows to the midline. Upward facing dog. Push the floor away. Squeeze shoulder blades. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. One breath, one movement. Your pace, not mine. Right leg to the sky. Use your whole breath in. Hips stay square. Take your knee to your nose. Push the floor away. Step in between the hands. Broaden your collarbones forward. Breathe in. Long stance pyramid. Shift the hips up and back. Breathe out. Left hand grounds. Right rises. Whole inhale to arrive. Start to bend through that front knee. Water wheel. Reach hands apart. Revolve, reverse. Left hand rises. Windmill around and land. Warrior 2. Regular reverse. Find the side bodies as you breathe in. Hands to the earth. Lower, collarbones broad, elbows in. Upward facing dog. Keep pushing the floor away. Downward facing dog. Whole breath out. Left side, when you're ready, breathe in. Let it rise. Take the knee to the nose. Step in between the hands. Fingertip. Long stance pyramid. Shift those hips back in space. Right hand grounds. Left rises. Take a big breath in. Tip at the hips. Water wheel. Reach the hands apart. Right hand slowly lifts. Windmill around. Control that movement and land. Warrior 2. Left hand to the sky. Take a big breath in. Hands to the earth. Lower down. Chaturanga as you breathe out. Upward facing dog. Thighs should be off the earth. And downward facing dog as you exhale, land. Catch your breath. It's really common when we move through our flow that breath is the first thing to leave or be compromised. We never want to compromise our breath. So as best as you possibly can, regain that connection. We're going to move through again. When you're ready, lift your right leg up to the sky. Round through your spine as you pull your knee to your nose. Step in between the hands, left leg engage, collarbones forward. Long stance pyramid, fold into the space. Left hand down, right rises, breathe into the belly. Tip of the hips, keep this big toe mound grounded, water wheel. Revolve, reverse, slow and steady, guys. Control and land, warrior 2. Stay deep in the legs. Reverse. Hands to the earth. You can flow if you want to, or if you want to land back in downward facing dog. That's a fantastic option as well. Listen to your body. Next breath in, the left leg will rise up. Use the whole breath. Take your knee to your nose, slower if you can. Step, fingertip lunge, heavy with the feet. Long stance pyramid, use your breath out for space. Right hand down, left arm lifts, take a big breath in. Start to bend through that left knee, water wheel, reach. Right hand to the sky, revolve, reverse. Windmill around, land, warrior 2. Left hand to the sky, take a big breath in. Hands to the earth, chaturanga as you breathe out. Upward facing dog, inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades more. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. Really, really good work, guys. I'm gonna encourage you to ripple forward to your high plank as you breathe in. land when you breathe out. These shakes that are soon going to enter the arms, they're going to enter the belly. Greet them like they're an old friend. Don't shy away. By building heat and strength in the body, it's going to allow us not only to find space, but really, really important to warm up first. Take just one more big breath in, shift forward, lower all the way down to your belly as you breathe out. For one moment, just land. You can place your arms down by your side, one cheek to the earth. Start to feel your heart beating against the surface beneath you. And as you take these long breaths in and out of the belly, can you notice this back body rising and falling? Just a moment to check in with how you're feeling. Throughout these movements, it's pretty common. Sometimes emotions, especially during a time like now, can come up. That's fine. Let it happen. You're in a safe space. We're going to start to move once again. So take just one more big breath in. And a long, slow breath out. Flip your hands so your palms are facing the earth and your pinky fingers are framing your hips. We're coming into Shalabhasana, locust pose. As you breathe in, peel the chin and chest up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you want to keep your hands on the earth, you're welcome, or if you'd like them to hover, start to reach back towards your feet. Big toes can be pushing into the earth, or maybe you start to lift your legs and create this dish-like shape. Hug your legs into the midline. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together and don't compromise your breath. As best as you can, stay fluid in the breath. We're going to hold here for another 3. Stay lifted, gaze to the earth, 2. Use a whole breath out to lower down, 1 cheek to the mat. You can wobble your hips a little from side to side. Any pressure that built up through our lowest spine, it'll just leave the body. Notice how the heart rate's picked up. These prone back bends have the ability to do that. It's pretty incredible. The reason this posture is so important is to strengthen our back body, to help our posture. We do a lot of lengthening through this side in yoga, so we want to even everything out. We're going to come into this posture just one more time. When you're ready, if you flip your palms over, bring them back, chin to the earth. Use a breath in to come into your variation of this shape. If you want to clasp your hands at your lower spine, start to draw them down towards your feet. Open your chest even more. Keep your gaze down to the earth so we're not looking up and cranking into the neck. Keep lifted here. We know that this is a tough posture, but your breath is here to support you. We're going to stay for another 3, 2, 1. Really nice. Lower down, wobble your hips, breathe. Slow the breath down, especially the exhale, so we can slow our heart rate down. Just one more big breath in. And a really, really long breath out. Your right arm, bring it to a 90-degree angle, elbow in line with the shoulder. Make sure that your hand's really well grounded, and then start to peel off towards that right side, coming into an open chest stretch. Now here, we want to make sure that we're drawing the shoulder blade down towards our hips. Again, throughout this time, our hands are going to be forward. We're probably going to be slumped over. This is a really beautiful way to open up through the heart space, open up through the chest. Kind of counteract a lot of the sitting down we're going to be doing through the upper body, not just the lower body. We're going to stay in this posture for another 3 rounds of breath. If you're breathing a little faster than myself, you move at your own pace still, even through these static postures. say there's just one more big breath in. Slowly roll back towards center as you breathe out and set up on the other side. Once again, making sure that elbow's in line, if not just above the shoulder. Peel off to that side. Now that left shoulder blade is going to be drawing down towards the hip to protect the front of the shoulder so we're not dumping any pressure to that really vulnerable spot. Use that breath. Allow it to anchor you to your practice, even with those distractions of being in your own home. Allow that to be your focus. Stay centered wherever you are. Just one more big breath in. Slowly roll back towards center as you breathe out. Push your hands into the earth and come back into a seat. Send your legs forward in space. Straight away, bring your legs out wide. If you have any rounding through your lumbar spine in the seat, maybe you sit up on a pillow, or if you have a yoga block, that's great. Here, activate your toes towards the sky. Keep that activation. As you breathe in, act like there's a string through the crown of your head drawing you up. And then as you breathe out, hinge at your hips, sending your chest and collarbones forward. Now, if you really want, you can bring slight rounding in through the spine. But as best as you can, try and keep the spine straight by hinging at the hips. What we're trying to avoid here is allowing the toes to roll in and the spine to round. Keep your toes up towards the sky and keep leading forward in space with your collarbones. Maybe this is the opportunity you start to close down your eyes. As many of you know, it's really important that we find this heat in the body. We find this space in the body, but we're also looking for that quiet mind in there as well. When we close down our eyes, we take away that visual distraction. So as best as you can, remain anchored by your breath for just one more round in this posture. Slowly begin to peel up. Sukhasana is where we're going next, for the outer hips. Slowly bring your left shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. What we want to ensure is that our knee is almost in line with our hip and there's a nice space between our belly and our calf. And then your right leg, start to bring that forward in space and aim to get your right ankle on top of your left knee. Or if that's not accessible for you, which is totally normal, bring it out and in front. Sukhasana is a box seat, so there should still be a good amount of space between belly and your calves. Here, you can stay seated with crown of head drawing up to the sky. For a lot of us, this is enough. But if you're relatively comfortable here and your outer hips are happy, start to send the chest forward. Really want to make sure we're opening the whole way through the hips. Use the breath. Still elongating those exhales especially. Start to drop the weight of your chest forward in space. Just 2 more rounds of breath left in this posture. Allowing them to keep you focused. Breathing into the sensation if that's what you need. Use a breath in to rise. And then as slowly and gently as you can, start to swap over sides. Right shin will now be on the bottom. Left ankle can be placed on top of right knee or in front of right knee. Again, act like there's that string. Breathe in, find length. Maybe that's enough. Or if you feel as if you've got the space, fold into it. The opportunity to find space in the body. and stillness in the mind, this is where it is. As best as you can, keep focusing on your breath. Just 2 more rounds here. Use a breath in to rise. Send both legs out in front. Paschimottanasana comes next, a forward fold. Now we've gotten into our hamstrings quite a bit in this class. So there's 2 variations. If you want to get a little more into the hamstrings, start to flex through the toes, take the sitting bones back and chest forward as you breathe out. You want to lead with the collarbones. Keep the spine straight. But especially throughout this time, a passive forward fold would be really nice for that back functional line of fascia. In this variation, you can round through the spine as much as you can. The only real activity here is taking the chin towards the chest. You may feel this anywhere from the tips of your toes, all the way through the backs of your feet, backs of your legs, your hips, all the way to the base of your skull. This is another really incredible posture to do at any point in the day. A really fantastic release. Sometimes this sensation can be pretty fiery in a strange way. Breathe into that. Don't shy away from it. You're going to take just 2 more breaths here. Breathing slow and on purpose. Use a breath in to rise. Lay all the way down on your back. Straight away, hug your knees in towards your chest. Give them a real tight squeeze, that loving hug all of you deserve. And keeping your shoulder blades grounded, use a breath out for your knees to land over to the right. Allow your knees to stack on top of one another. And as best as you can, remain really heavy and grounded through your shoulder blades. Some of you might be receiving this nice open chest feeling. But what we're here for is to wring out the spine. Allow the knees to fall really heavy. Keep the eyes closed down. And that breath remains fluid. Slowly start to bring the knees to center and allow them to drop over the other side. For many of us, getting those knees grounded is pretty tough. If ever you need, you're more than welcome to place a pillow or a block underneath your knees or in between them. It's going to give your lower half a little bit more support, so you can really enter this twist in a passive way. Find that range through your thoracic spine. Two more rounds of breath here, yogis. Once your 2 rounds are over, slowly come back to center. Lay your legs out long and find Shavasana. Maybe you tuck your shoulders underneath your chest just a little and down in space.